So today was the day that we finally got news on the re-release of MultiVersus, and on their channel here they put out this video, so I just wanted to go through it, break it down, see everything that they revealed, and talk about what I thought about it, because I am someone who loves MultiVersus, and I was very excited to see this trailer come out today. So right off the bat, they start with the big announcement, which is that the game is re-releasing on May 28th. That does seem kind of far away. I don't know, people were really getting in their heads talking about like a shadow drop and stuff like that. People were predicting the game would be out in like a week or two. That was just never gonna happen. That was wishful thinking. Overall, I'm just happy that we have a date, because there's no more kind of speculation, and I think it's good to just have that out there and just say this is the date, kind of like stop asking us, and we can move forward with that. And May 28th, pretty early 2024. I mean, I wouldn't call it early, I'd probably say it's like halfway, but it's good enough. So the next thing we got from this trailer was concept art for 2 new maps coming to the game, and this is pretty important. So we see here that this is seemingly a Powerpuff Girls map, and then after that we see what looks like a Dexter's Laboratory map. And I'm saying looks like, but I mean it is. That's what it is. So these are 2 new maps that we're seeing, and I think these are pretty significant because it kind of confirms that these 2 characters will be coming to the game at some point. I am kind of speculating, but the reason I say that is because as of right now, every map in the game, every franchise that has a map in the game also has a character in the game. So like, for example, there's a Scooby-Doo map, you have Shaggy. There's a Game of Thrones map, you have Arya Stark. There's a Space Jam map, you have LeBron. There's no franchise that only has a map. So if that pattern stays the same, which it might not, but assuming it does, this pretty much confirms that we will be getting both Dexter and also the Powerpuff Girls as playable characters, which are 2 really, really good character choices in my opinion. The Powerpuff Girls are iconic. They could be a very unique character since there is 3 of them. I don't even know how they would do that. They might not even use all 3, but theoretically if they had all 3, that'd be really unique. And then Dexter's perfect for the game just because his kit could be, I mean, it could be anything with all the gadgets he has at his disposal. So obviously I am kind of speculating, that's not confirmed. However, like I said, if the pattern stays true, they will be in the game. Maybe not at launch. I would assume these maps would be ready for launch, because why would you show this concept art out of all of them if it wasn't going to be there? But what do I know, right? So I do think that if these maps get released, you're going to see a Powerpuff Girls character, you're going to see Dexter. That's pretty much confirmed based on the pattern they have so far. After this, they talk about more of the technical stuff. For one, they're going to be putting the game on Unreal Engine 5, which is nice to see. It's going to make the game feel a little bit newer, a little bit fresher. You know, I don't think it's going to be that huge of a difference. You know, they kind of showed the lighting difference and everything. It's there. I don't think it's going to change much, but it is good to see, because I think the biggest problem MultiVersus might have is that it's going to feel too similar to when it went away. And if that's the case, I just feel like people are going to sit there and say, well, why? Why did you do this? What was the point? I don't know that they're going to be able to avoid that, because obviously the game at its core is going to be the same, but that's something that they really need to try to avoid. And so putting it on a new engine, that's a good start for that. And on that topic of new things, they did say that each character is going to have updated moves and different changes to their mechanics. Obviously, these will probably vary in like how much they're changing. Some characters might just get like 1 new move, they might update 1 move, or they could completely change the characters in general. I think some of those characters that release towards the end, like Black Adam maybe, might need like much more work than others, but we'll see. Obviously, we don't really know that yet. The other big thing that they talked about was, of course, the netcode, which was probably one of the biggest reasons that this game actually did end up kind of failing at the time, because the netcode just wasn't there, and that is probably the most important part of a fighting game. So having them talk about this and say that they acknowledge it, they're working on it, that's good to see. Obviously, that is not something we can judge until we actually have the game in our hands, but it is nice to hear that they acknowledge that right away, because it shows that they did listen. On top of that, the other major piece of news we got is that there's going to be a new PvE type mode. Again, not much to go off. Tony kind of just leaves it at that. It is interesting to hear them talk about this, because in my mind, there was already a PvE mode with the arcade mode. However, the arcade mode was really not well received at all, had a lot of issues. So part of me wonders if maybe they're just kind of moving away from that and doing a new type of single player mode. But at the same time, PvE doesn't necessarily mean single player. PvE can also mean multiplayer. So maybe there will still be the arcade mode, and this is more of a like 4-player potentially PvE style mode. I'm not really sure how that would even work, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. We don't know anything else yet. However, new modes are always a good thing. It's new content. He did say that there would be unique rewards for this mode, so it's another thing to grind. all good stuff. We'll learn more about it soon. So I'm going to slow this footage down and show this to you because it seems to me like the character models themselves are significantly larger. And also the camera seems to be zooming in and out a bit more extremely than it did when the game was out in open beta. And I think when I saw this, at least with the camera movement, I kind of thought that this was just like a trailer thing, and it might still be something that they're just doing for the trailer to emphasize what they're trying to show you. But members of the team were tweeting and saying like, hey, did you notice those character models? Did you notice that camera? So that tells me that this is something that they are actually changing. I don't know if I love the look of it. These characters seem a bit too big. I mean, it looks okay on this map, but on the Space Jam map, I mean, they look huge right here compared to like the basketball net, for example. This is something that may not seem that important, but it can really change like how the game feels. And I forgot to mention with the engine, that could also really change how the game feels. So I hope they don't change it too much. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all we got for this first initial trailer. It's not a ton. I am seeing some people, disappointed, saying they wanted more, but this is the type of thing where if the game was coming out in a week or two, I would agree. I'd be a little bit worried because they didn't show a ton new. However, the game does not come out for 2 months, so there's a lot of time here to build up hype and get ready for release. And in my mind, the 2 announcements that are going to get the most attention is release date and new characters. That's the biggest way you're going to get hype for the game, the biggest way you're going to get people talking and tweeting and articles and videos, all that kind of stuff that you need to market a game. So it wouldn't really make sense to do all of that immediately the first day that you re-reveal the game. It just doesn't make sense. It makes a lot more sense to do what they did here, which is reveal the date, get that press, and then maybe in a couple weeks, they're going to announce a new character. Maybe after a week or 2 more, they'll show the PvE mode, maybe show another character, like these types of things where you build up to that release. It wouldn't make sense to just show everything today. Obviously, we all want that. It's natural to want that, but it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. I do think it's weird though that they didn't really actually show a new map or new characters in any capacity at all, because it makes the game look like it's kind of the same, which is, like I said, the thing that they really need to avoid. However, they did make it clear that like the new maps are coming, the new characters are coming, they're going to show more, obviously, but still I do think that they could have shown just a little bit more, even just like tease a new character maybe. But at the end of the day, we'll see all of that in the coming weeks. This is not the one announcement you get until May 28th. I mean, that much is clear. Overall, I'm just honestly happy to see MultiVersus again, see Tony again, and all these types of things. It brings back really the joy I had with MultiVersus when it was out. And once again, I'm just seeing the passion that this team has, and I just want it to work out for them. And I want to be able to play this game for a long time. I love it so much. And even though we didn't get a lot today, I feel good about what they showed. I do wish the release date was a little bit closer, but that's just me being greedy. I'm super excited to see what they have in store for us over the coming weeks. And if you like this style of video, let me know, because I'll keep covering MultiVersus news up to its release, and I'm going to be playing the game a lot when it comes out as well, so stick around for that.